Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show, and I need help. Yes, I need help. I'm an engineer. I was an engineer for Honeywell for 37 years, and we developed navigation systems for military aircraft. So I'm fairly familiar with electronics and how to solve problems and stuff like that. But I haven't been able to solve this problem, so I'm looking for help. Now, I have asked for help locally. I contacted everybody in in the local amateur radio club that we have at Honeywell. We have about 15 members. And I asked them about DMR radio specifically. And one or two of them had heard of it, but that's it. So they couldn't help me. So then I start contacting other people. There's another big club down in St. Pete. I sent some emails to some of their members, asked them for some help. Got a little tiny bit of help, but it was like, man, not that much help. You could see they kind of played with it and got disinterested, and so they never got very far. So that wasn't any help. I've watched a whole bunch, well, not a whole bunch. I've watched maybe a dozen or so videos on DMR and on this particular radio right here, which is the Retevis RT82 DMR radio, amateur radio. It was sent to me for review. So I learned a little bit about them from those videos, but I'm struggling with the actual programming and where you put what, and how do you do things. Retevis has a programming software package that's right here on this computer, and it's a pretty neat little package, but there is no manual whatsoever. Zero. Nada. And so it's, if you know what you're doing, it's pretty cool, but if you have no clue like me, it's difficult to say the least. I have, by piecing things together and watching videos, there was a pretty good video on using this from a guy in the UK, and it kind of got me started. I sent him a message and asked him if he had what's called a code plug, which is a file of all the information that goes into the radio. And it has the frequencies, the groups, the zones, the da, the D, the D, the da, all that information. Well, of course, that information is really going to be valuable for your area. So he's in the UK, so he was saying it's not going to be that valuable. So I did get 2 files from some other people, but they weren't for this radio. And when I tried to load it to the radio, it loaded it, but then the radio was bonkers, so it didn't like it. So I went back. Thank goodness, I downloaded what was in the radio before I did anything else and saved that to a file. So I was able to keep going back to that file and resetting the radio back to, and there wasn't much in there, but it was at least working. I have since used that software to create some channel information, which is the details about each channel, such as frequency and whether it's a digital. This is digital and analog. So I created a bunch of those, and from another file I got, which was for another radio, but I was able to use another program to convert it, and so that's in there. And I got it programmed to, I think, one of the local repeaters, digital repeaters in my area. Now, here is a listing of supposedly all the digital repeaters in my area. So I have plugged this into my regular scanner radio, which I know, since this is digital data, all I'm going to hear is burp, burp. That's all I'm going to hear. That's okay. That's fine. I just want to verify something is coming out of those repeaters. Well, I've had my scanner on all afternoon, and only one repeater has made any noise. So I've attempted to program that repeater into this radio. Attempted. But I've not heard anything on this radio. When my scanner stopped and I heard burp, 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 I didn't hear anything on this radio. Nothing. Nada. So I probably have something wrong. No doubt. So anyway, as you can tell, I need some help. So I'm looking for someone, one of my subscribers or viewers, to get in contact with to help me program and understand this radio. Again, it's the Revis, probably pronounced that wrong, R-E-T-E-V-I-S, and it's the RT82 digital two-way radio with DMR GPS optional. I don't know if it's got GPS or not. And I did find where I found on their website, where I found this programming software, there is a firmware update to this radio, which is considerable number of updates beyond what's in here, but I'm afraid I might brick the radio, and I don't want to do that, so I ain't doing any updates. Even though I read an article about the updates, and it changes or fixes a lot of problems. But I'm going to lure you of that right now. Maybe when I find somebody that knows what they're doing, I could feel a little better. So anyway, if any of you have this radio and can help me, I'd appreciate it. You can send me an email to TRRS73@gmail.com. Because I really want to, this is a fascinating radio. Really fast. From what I've gathered, it's like the radios that utilities use, police, fire, EMS. And it's kind of like a trunking radio. And I've got a trunking scanner radio that used to work on our county, but then they went digital, so it didn't work anymore. And I understood how to program it, but it was really tedious. Luckily, I bought the interface cable, and you could go to Radio Reference. They have all the information for a given county or whatever. You download that file, boom, you shoot it into the radio, and you're done. You don't have to do any programming, manual program at all. This should work the same way as far as programming it, if I can get that file or make that file. I can see I got kind of a piecemeal file right now, and I thought this one channel, this one repeater, I thought I had it programmed right, and so far not a beep out of the radio. Maybe I don't have the radio in the right mode. I don't know. And I'm not, like I say, I've not heard much activity on my scanner, which I have all these repeaters programmed in to at least hear the coming out of the repeater. And like I say, only one in 4 hours that I've had it programmed has been a hit, has hit a hit, or made a sound, made a sound. So anyway, if you could help me out, I'd appreciate it. Again, my email address is TRRS, Tom's Radio Room Show, 73@gmail.com. I think that's about it. You know, it's a nice looking radio. I probably can't get the camera to focus because it's such a high contrast. The thing is, let me mention this too. I'm kind of doing a semi-review. The manual for this, it goes into infinite detail of how to manually program all these modes and zones and all this stuff. But it doesn't even tell you what the stuff on the screen is. Like there's little symbols up here on the top. There's one with a square with an H in it. I don't know what that is. It's not in the manual. And then there's a symbol over here that looks like one of those shields with your for a name, like the Styles shield. It looks like that, and it's like orange and blue. I have no idea what that means. Then after I've done some playing around it, I've got a plus sign next to it. I don't know what that means. And then of course over here, you can't see it, over here is the S meter, and it's popping all over the place. But I don't hear a single word coming out, or sound coming out of the radio. It's almost like it's almost like it's squelched. And there is no manual squelch that you can set. It's either high squelch, I forgot what they call it, but high squelch or low squelch. That's all there is, just two settings. And I can't get I wonder if one of these buttons, let me just look at something real quick here while I'm wasting your time. Oh, I love this. You can't see it, of course, but the buttons on the sides, it calls the top one, it calls it side key 1. It doesn't tell you what function is. Of course, I've learned that this programming software, you can program all these keys. So I guess that's why they use a generic name. So I have to go back and look in this file here and see what these keys are programmed for. I don't think you can program these symbols on the display. And well, that's all I wanted to say about it, because if I can get it working, I'll do a full review. But I'm just looking for help. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.